Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Paul. We are so excited to be a part of the AME 2-Second Lean Tour Series. My name is Adam Steck. This is Southwest Steel Buildings, and we're excited to show you what we do around here. We are in the steel building industry. We do everything to do with pre-engineered steel buildings, everything from design, estimation, detailing, manufacturing. We do it all, and we do it right here in this 30,000 square foot facility in Mineola, Texas. What I would like to show you is a couple of projects. These are some of the buildings that we've built here recently. This was a party barn for a customer, park RVs in there, all kinds of crazy stuff in there. Really, really gorgeous building. We do stuff like this. We also do big stuff like this 60,000 square foot riding arena to commercial and industrial work. This is a warehouse that we just recently finished. Everything from loading docks to all of that. That is what we do. Well, I want to tell you what we're passionate about. What we're passionate about is this right here. We're passionate about people. Our purpose is, as a company, is to honor God, build people, and spread joy. But the building people, that part of that is what 2-Second Lean really allows us to be able to do. What we've been able to do with 2-Second Lean is really foster a culture of the mentoring mindset to where we can help change the way people think and give them the environment to where they can change the way they think. And we do that through using 2-Second Lean as a primary conduit for that. I grew up in a single-parent home, and there would be gentlemen across the years that would come and mentor. Maybe they had 1-2 chances a year to really pour into me and mentor me. And unfortunately, most businesses work that way. Once or twice a year, they pour into their people a little bit, send them to a conference, something like that. But there's not really that cadence that really makes an impact to where they can really grow as individuals. And we do our primary conduit that we use to do that is our morning meetings. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go take a look at how we do morning meetings. Okay, so mentoring people on a daily basis. The primary way we do that is through our morning meetings, and we have each morning meeting we want to accomplish 4 things. We want to set the tone for the day, we want to leave with a plan for the day, we want to spur improvement discussion, and we want to leave with a challenge for the day. And the ones with the lightning bolts, these are actually instructional slides that are not here every day, but when people are preparing the meeting, they can go to these slides to understand what each section is for. I've unhid some of these for you guys so that we can actually talk through them. So setting the tone for the day. A big thing for us are saying what we're grateful for, what we're thankful for, and giving shout outs. That's one of the primary ways we use to set a positive tone for the day. So we actually will go around the room and we'll ask, what are you grateful for? We'll just do, hey, 4 people give me what you're grateful for today. But I feel like the gratefulness really is kind of that conduit to humility, and humility is what you really have to apply lean on a daily basis. Another way is obviously shout outs. We want to celebrate our team. We want to celebrate when people have worked as a team and they've done well together. So that's opportunity to help set the tone for the day through that. Plan for the day. So what we do is we call it shaking out the day. And I'll come over here and get you to zoom in on this real quick, Zach, is we call it shaking out the day. So this is for our production, each line has what their load for the day is, and if we need to know what their load for tomorrow is, but actually has a picture. You can zoom in on this, Zach. Actually has a picture of who the operator is. So if all of a sudden Jeff is not here today, we know that we can put Jonathan may go out there and be on the line for the day. So it really helps us communicate visually for that. Lets us know what our complete load is for the day on production. So we actually go through each one. For the office, it's a little bit different. Sometimes it's harder to understand how we're winning in the office. So what we do is ask everybody to come in to the meeting prepared with understanding what the win for the day is. It doesn't necessarily have to be something huge. It's just how can you go home today fulfilled, knowing that you've accomplished at least that one thing that will help you win the day. All right, so we talk about 2-second improvements. We do internal, external, and we go through the waste cycle on those and talk really to help understand and how do we to teach the waste cycle. And we do that primarily through improvement videos, internal and external. And then for the discussion time, this is not a lecture time. This is really a time to spur discussion. So the challenge we give is pick a lean topic and give one or two good discussion questions that will help spur discussion. We're not trying to complete the conversation in here. We're trying to start the conversation and the thinking process so it will carry on throughout the day. We also use this time to help build our culture. So this morning we actually talked about some of our Southwest principles and create a discussion around those. But that's the whole idea: is we're creating discussion. We're not trying to start and stop here. We're just trying to begin that conversation here. You can see here, this was one we did earlier this week. It's just a concept of flow. And so there was some discussion questions after this. Um, uh, the other thing we do as far as culture is we go through our Southwest way. We go through our highlights. This one's mindset over skill set, and that's really kind of the idea that we're talking about today. Is kind of the primary theme is mindset over skill set. We do an Ono says, so we have a whole series of those. And then wisdom says culture is half what we create and half what we tolerate. So there's a whole selection of slides that whoever's presenting can pick from those. And then finally, we leave with a challenge for the day. We challenge is sort, sweep, standardize, but like today is share an example of how a Southwest way saying has impacted you. So that's the challenge that Dawn gave this morning as she left this morning. And then clarity on who's doing the bathrooms and who has the meetings next. So having a mentoring mindset as a part of our company culture, one of the big things we do is we really focus on challenging people's mindset over their skill set. So one of our Southwest ways, it's one of our principles of our company, is mindset over skill set. A proper mindset is more valuable than a rigid skill set. We have to learn, unlearn, and be willing to relearn. And everything in society, particularly American society, just screams, be lazy, let us think for you, let us do it for you. You can think Amazon, think of any of the convenient stuff that you pay for personally. That's what is outside of these walls. When we bring people in here and we really challenge the way they think and are asking them to grow, a lot of the muscles that we're asking them to use are atrophied outside of this place, or when they come to us at least. So it can be a really hard transition for some people to go from a non-lean environment to a lean environment where we're really challenging the way that they grow. I'll say that even with the way we designed our new offices, I want to show you our old office real quick. As far as this is what we knew. So when we built this office 15 years ago, long hallways, very traditional, doors. We had built-in desk that were totally inflexible, lots of wasted space in that. So that was what we knew. We learned that. We had to unlearn, and so we just recently built our new office setup. So we applied the lean thinking to it, and we had to relearn our idea of what an office should look like. So something as simple as the way we ran our electrical. Who runs their electrical up high? Most of it is down low, and it's hard to work around and all that. Well, we decided, hey, if we put it up at 8 foot, these partitions, we want to be able to move these partitions. So you can see up there, they're pinned up there and they're pinned down at the bottom, and we can move these partitions fairly easily and as we need it, because we don't know exactly what it's going to look like 10 years from now, what our needs are going to look like. We may remove them all. We may have more of them in here. So as we come down through here, I'll just show you something like, so all of our desks, instead of having built-in desks, now we have everything is these mobile desks on wheels. They're stand up. They can sit down. The big thing is that we can move any of these wherever it works. So I'll actually come up here and show you this. This desk right here, actually yesterday was back at where the desk I just showed you. And Preston decided that it would be better for him to be up front. So we just literally shut everything down, unplugged it, moved over, plugged it back in, and he's up and going because everything's on Wi-Fi. We don't have Ethernet and all that. So I'll show you, you can just kind of take a look around. It's just a gorgeous place. We did a lot of this work ourselves. Our team did. Fabrication built the stairs. Beautiful, gorgeous place. So coming back to some of this, so something as simple as these Ondon lights to where we can tell whether somebody can be interrupted or not. So these are some of the things you have to think of. It's a little bit different than the traditional where you can just shut your door. This is something that is more like an open concept, shut your door, open your door type thing. So what we're going to do next is we're actually going to look at what lean and continuous improvement looks like in engineering. So we're going to go to Chaz now in engineering and estimation. So we'll come around here and I'm going to give him the headset and he's going to explain how we use lean in the engineering and estimation. Here you go, Chaz.
All right, how's it going? So the thing that I wanted to focus on is single second exchange of information. So we all have customers. We all know that we have something that they want. So something that we produce is metal buildings, and so we came up with a 3D designer. It's interactive. Our customers can come and create their own buildings. So they're telling us exactly where they want that door, exactly where they want these windows. And the hard part for engineering and office stuff is relaying that same information that we already have to our design program. So something that we came up with internally is when my customer clicks the button that says they want to request a hard quote and it needs to go to engineering, I get a card on my Trello board where I can download this file and see it downloaded here. And then I'm going to highlight the job name and push my button on my Stream Deck. And it's going to minimize stuff. It's going to open up my design program, create a new folder, go through all the initial screens that it needs to. Then it's going to go to a program that we have here listed. It's going to open up that job that we just created, that it created. Then go to my downloads folder, remove that out of my downloads folder, put it back in here, open my program back up, and it will run that sequence. So now when I go to this input screen, there's that building. It has all the framed openings in it, has the overhead door exactly where we needed it. It cut out all the waste of the project manager having to communicate to me the size of the building, the number of openings, all of those things, and now I can add value only where I need to add value. It doesn't add any value to the customer if by me saying, okay, you wanted a 40 by 50 building, okay, 40 by 50, and then going in here and adding and putting it in. That adds no value. The customer is not willing to pay for that. What they are willing to pay for is me making sure that that building gets designed the right way. So cutting out all of the waste, it's kind of like the single minute exchange of dies, but in the office, it's single second exchange of information. I mean, it's how much information goes back and forth to each other. So we cut out all the waste in that, and this is our product. This is where I add value.
Thank you, Chaz. All right, so we're going to move over to here, and if you'll notice, you'll see these around the building. This is our improvement board. This looks a little bit different than some of the other ones. This one works for this area, future improvements in progress. This is complete. Something that we learned from Ryan Tierney is it's not the improvement's not complete until it's shared, and so we make sure that we capture that. Here's a completed, and then an important category is if something's stuck, and sometimes you just get an improvement that's stuck, and you just need to identify that, hey, this is just stuck. So use those as our point to start our day out with, where we're not having to think of improvements during the improvement time. We think of those throughout the day. If it's something we can't execute immediately, then we'll put it on a card, and that's something that as we have the improvement time. So this is for our customer service area here, and you notice they use the Pareto pyramid there, to where as we get ideas, you put them down here, and then you can kind of stage them, because you can really we will try to one piece flow everything. So you can only really focus on one thing at a time. So this is the one that we're going to be working on during the next improvement time. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go out to shipping, and we're going to talk about one of the most important parts of our entire company that affects our ability to grow. Before we get to shipping, one of the things I wanted to point out was from the engineering, what Chaz did, the process he showed you. We've had companies that have come through here. It used to take us at least 2 hours to do that process that he did in about 60 seconds. We've had companies come through here that say it takes them up to 4 hours to do that same process. So fantastic waste elimination there. I just wanted to point that out. We're actually in shipping now, and I wanted to address this one special because this is our company constraint. Everybody understands there's bottlenecks, and typically they're done on individual product lines or production lines. But a constraint is the bottleneck of bottlenecks, and so it's not a bad thing. You just need to understand where it's at. For us, our system constraint, as we dial out projections on how we're going to grow, is 100% shipping. It's our ability to unload product safely, accurately, inventory it correctly, and then load safely, accurately what's going out to the customer. And so that being said, being one of the most important parts, I actually wanted to introduce you to Caleb, and Caleb's going to take you through and walk you through some of the improvements in the shipping area. So Caleb, here you go.
So yeah, hi, I'm Caleb. I've been in this position for about a year now, and direct your attention over here. I know you've already seen improvement boards from inside. This is what mine looks like. One of the big improvements we've made here is I've done this board right here, and this is my work staging board. You can see some examples. This is what I've done today so far. We've got our truck options. These are magnetized, and the cars themselves are magnetized. So we're a truck to get moved, say to next week. I'm loaded next Tuesday. I'm able to move it around. That's been really nice to have, and it's something that we took from being on the computer to saying, hey, we want to take and make this manual because we're looking for visual. It helps me to outline my day and get an understanding for what I'm loading, and then also we're able to see collisions if all of a sudden we need to load the same trailer twice. It makes it really obvious, and makes us resolve that issue right away. So that's been a huge improvement. We've also got just clearly outlined SOPs, and then where I'm 3Sing for each day, and accountability as to when I've done that. So that's been really nice. So if you'll walk over here to the screw room. I say screw room. This is our accessory packaging area. A lot of packaging done. The biggest improvement here that we've done has been these screw racks, and this is something that we were looking to buy, and we couldn't find what we needed. They didn't make it, so we took a lot of time, a lot of energy to design these racks to where they're the right height, to where they fit the boxes that the screws come in. These are magnetic, again, magnets. We're able to, where we need to change something, we're able to customize it. And we don't have to go through the waste of how we used to do it. So how we used to do it was the screw room used to be about 70 feet that way. Still, the shipping area is still over here. So we're walking a lot to bring the package screws to where they need to be. And the stocking was done on tables similar to this. So we would take them out of the boxes, we would put them into these bins, then to package them, we would take them out of the bins and put them back into the boxes. So what we've done now is we've eliminated all of that. So if you want to look at an example, I've got an empty box here. When the box is empty, I'm able to just pick it up, and it's going to self-feed right to there. So we've always got fresh screws, and like when we put them into the racks, we put these clips on them. Does not take a lot of time, and that means that as soon as I'm taking this out, I do not have to stop my packaging process, and I'm ready to go again with more screws. So that's been a huge improvement. On here to the doors, this is a really good example of visual cues. So this is something we've done with the door frames. The problem we had is that so many of the door frames were going out. We have two types of door frames. We have standard and we have deadbolt, and they're not compatible with each other. So what we were having deadbolt frames go out with standard leafs and vice versa. And it was a big problem. What we started doing is adding these stickers. Before, without these stickers, this information is right here. It's on the box, but it's not clear. If you step back far enough, you can't see it. So as we're packaging these, receiving these doors and frames in, we're adding those stickers, and it's just a double check. We're already looking at this information. We're already there. So while we're putting those stickers on there, we're double checking, and it makes any errors extremely obvious when it's loading, when it's packaging, when you're walking through. It's just anyone can visually check it because it's so obvious. And we apply the same standard to the leaves over here, and that's cut down virtually all of the errors that we were running into with having the wrong leaves and frames with each other. So that one's been a huge improvement and a really good example of how visual cues really affect flow. So on into here, one thing I wanted to mention right quick, another improvement we've made is these pods for our insulation. And I don't know if you were able to catch, there's more stored in that accessory room in there, but this was an improvement that we've had in place for several years now. And all this insulation, many jobs at a time, used to be stored in the floor over there, and it was chaotic. And the jobs would get mixed up. You had to completely sort and throw on to the truck by hand the insulation every time. It was a disaster. And so we took the time, we took the resources that we needed, and we made the improvement. And it was a lot of work to get into play, but it's paid off many, many times over. And so now we're able to take the pod out, unload the insulation truck, and then sticker it, and it's done. It doesn't have to come out of there until it's at the job site. So, all right, so now we're moving over to the forklift. This is my biggest tool when I'm loading and unloading trucks. I spend a lot of time on this thing. So really, all of the improvements that I've made to this were spurred on by intentionality. It was not this. A lot of these have been natural improvements. It's like, oh, this bugs me. This was, what am I tolerating? What am I letting happen? What am I letting take more time than it should? How does this need to be improved? Because I don't want to accept anything less than what could be. So right off the bat, we keep this on here. This was improvement in and of itself, to have a sawzall to be able to cut the timbers down instead of having to come in here or makeshift something. We have the tool we need, we have the power, and then it was a big improvement just to have a place for it. That's a complete improvement, and it works. It's there when I need it, and it's not in the way when I don't. Same thing with this bander right here. It's there. It's got its own spot, and the bands here, they're here. They have their own spot. They're not in the way, but when I need them, they're there, and that is amazing. It is cut down on the amount of time that I spend taking trips back into this building when I'm out in the yard. Coming back in here kills my momentum so much. So keeping that momentum up is a huge deal. In the same spirit is these buckets right here for ratchets, straps, and corners. Another example of taking the time to figure out what needs to happen, what it requires to do that, and making the improvement. So these buckets I'm able to take and put the ratchets on one side of the truck, straps on the other, and then they're there when I need them, and they have a spot, it's labeled, it's clear, and it's clean. So that really wraps up the improvements on the forklift, but those all have made a huge difference in the time I'm spending coming back into the building. So one more thing I want to touch on is this right here. This is kind of a separate from the other improvements. This is a huge system improvement. And so the main focus of this is this tablet. And what we've done is we've been able to create an app that uses our systems that we have inside, BuildNet and all of that. And we're able to receive the purlin and steel that we receive out there. We're able to receive it in here, and it sends and it will package everything like it needs to be in BuildNet. It will send a sticker to this printer right here, prints it on the spot, and it receives everything into the systems they need to inside. And so it actually does over 20 different processes that we used to have to do individually, and it does it automatically. And it was not easy to get to. It was not a quick process. It was not something that just happened, and it was definitely something that people said couldn't be done, but we were able to get it done. And being able to use this finally after 3 years of it being an idea is incredible. So another example of intentionality.
So I want to show you what it used to look like before 2-second lean around here, and where we really applied the principles of one-piece flow particularly, and really watching how we managed our inventory. So what it used to look like around here is this was our work in progress area here. This was just the stuff that was going to be shipped out on trucks going delivery to job site deliveries and to customers. So each one of these would be, there's 4 wide, and each one of these would be 6 to 8 high. As soon as we got an order, we used to just produce it regardless of when the customer really wanted it. So what we had to change our thinking, and what we did is we said, we started treating inventory like fresh fruit. I don't know if you've ever been to any kind of breakfast thing at a hotel or something like that. Whenever you get there, if they served you frozen fruit, it would be pretty nasty. But what we decided to do was really understand when the customer wanted the order delivered, and then leaning up the process to where it took the minimal amount of time possible to actually produce the order, and we achieved that through one-piece flow. So there would be stuff stacked everywhere. Typically, a company, if they can turn their inventory 6-7 times a year, in our business, 3 to 6 times a year is typical. The minimum amount we turn our inventory is 12 times a year, and we've actually achieved 17-time inventory turn in a single year. And so that's a really, really high bar. Our goal is 20 turns in a year. Something else that just as far as serving the customer, if you'll look up here, I'm going to press this and maybe there it goes. Come on. So what that is whenever a customer comes in, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off now. What we were finding is they were actually backing in, and guys would be busy back here. So we just point back here. So these guys may be working and busy back here and not see that a customer's sitting over here waiting. So we decided, how can we do that? So we decided to put a light and an alarm to where it would go off to where the customer would not have to wait at all to get loaded. Because the reality in our business, most of our guys are contractors. And so if they're sitting here, they're losing money because they're not on the job site where they're actually adding value to their customer. So as we come over here into the fab shop, I want to show you one thing. A big thing with one-piece flow, is this is the fab shop. So if you can look here, so this is the way stuff used to come in. It would come in, rack, bounce all over the place, and what we relayed everything out to where we had a single lean flow coming through into paint and going back out the door. We had this in every area except for one. So what I want to do is I want to show you this. We call it the $35,000 pencil mark, and we'll let Zeth move here. And so we're going to run down here real quick. And this area here, what we'd have to do is just like when Zeth set this beam up here, we would set it up there. We would have to bring it over here, and the head of this thing pivots. And so we would have to cut all of the 90-degree cuts at one time. We back them up, stage them, and then because we couldn't accurately get this saw to move back and forth because of the way the saw is set up. So come zoom in over here, Zach. And this stuff gets nasty, dirty. This is actually, you can't even see it, but this is where we're supposed to angle, get our angle right every time. But Ethan, we were literally about to purchase a whole nother bandsaw to where we could have one at a 90 or a pitch and then have a second one in line to do a different pitch. And then Ethan really started studying the problem. And what he found is that it was something as simple as a pencil mark could save us the cost of a $35,000 bandsaw. So zoom back in here, and I want to show you real quick. So this is a laser here. This laser shoots down, and we just need to accurately get the saw back into position. So what we did was we decided to put a pencil mark at 90, and then whatever the pitch is on this job, we just simply put another pencil mark right there. And it's something that can be erased. In the next job, we can put whatever the pitch is for that job. So what that did is that allowed us to literally take a single beam, cut it at 90, cut the pitch on it, and move it down to the shot blaster, and then match up with the tack up, weld out, go to paint, and out the door. So that is how, particularly in the fab area, we've applied single piece flow, one piece flow, and it has drastically reduced the amount of inventory that we carry around here. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the trim line and look how we've applied one piece flow, and our mindset had to change using one piece flow on the trim line. We're at the trim line, and what I wanted to show you now is how we've applied one-piece flow and really had to change our mindset of the way we deal with waste, process waste, and eliminate waste in that process. So follow me over here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to have Lowell show you the way that we used to deal with scrap. So Lowell, if you'll kind of process that piece of scrap the way we used to process it. So he's rolling it up, rolling it up, rolling it up, rolling it up. I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds sometimes. And what he would used to do is we had a big scrap bin right over here, and he would actually take and toss that into the scrap bin, which was dangerous. It took up a lot of space. But what we did was we really challenged ourselves. We wanted to figure out how can we keep the machine from shutting down whenever we had to actually empty the scrap bin, because before it would take approximately 4 hours. This machine was shut down to eliminate and move the scrap to actually just get it out of the way. Totally waste, totally non-productive value. So what we did is we had to rethink the way that we thought. That's rethink the way we thought, obviously. But we created this table underneath, and I'm going to actually, Zach, you can kind of zoom over here and see if you can kind of catch what Lowell's doing here. So we actually figured out a way where we could take and go ahead and plop that in, where now it actually just slides over the side and goes underneath the table. and now that waste is done with. So what we had, we went from a 4-hour turnaround on the scrap log to now we're doing it in about 30 minutes ish. We have a goal of getting down to 15 minutes, and we'll keep working on that and doing that. But one piece flow. So we used to stack. This used to be a table on sawhorses, and we would stack up anywhere from 3 to 5 jobs at a time in batch work, and we would pick the table up with the crane, and we would hoist it and move it down there. We actually had to spin it because everything was on the wrong side. We would spin it, super dangerous spinning anything overhead, and we would take and put it down here, and inevitably the job that you needed was not on top, right? Something changed. But now what we've done is we've taken where we're actually processing a single job at a time, where this job right here is the one that we're actually folding. So we put these conveyors in to where we can actually send down the job one piece at a time, to where they're actually folding it as they go. So they're going straight from folding it, slitting it, moving it down, folding it, and putting it into the box. So now this customer doesn't have to wait a day, possibly 2 days for an order. They're able to process this, a single job, in a matter of hours, where it used to take up to 2 days. Really, about 2 days is what we allowed. Now we can process that same job in a matter of a couple hours, and the customer can actually get that value when they need it. So guys, this is, I've enjoyed the tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. You've just seen a few of the improvements that we've done. There's thousands and thousands of improvements that we've done around here, and there's thousands more we can make. But our focus is not so much on the improvement. It's how people are growing and as individuals, and their mindsets are changing to where they can take what they're learning here and benefit their family and our community outside of this place. So we've enjoyed the tour. Hope you have, and I guess now we'll take questions.